What's up, guys? Jalen here from A Cast of Geeks, here to bring you guys another video about WWDC 2015. In this conference, Apple didn't really introduce anything to reinvent the wheel or to drastically change how we interact with our Apple devices, but it did introduce a lot of smaller features that, when culminated, could actually have a big impact on how users interact with both iOS and OS X. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a rundown of my top 10 things announced at WWDC. Taking my number 10 spot is the revamped Notes application for both iOS and OS X. Now, both versions include various improvements, some of which are the ability to add checklists, the ability to put an image directly in your note, and the ability to doodle directly on the screen using your finger or stylus. Okay, next up we've got improvements to Siri and the introduction to Proactive Assistant. And basically what Proactive Assistant allows you to do is you can scroll to the left from the first page of your home screen, and you're greeted with the traditional spotlight found in iOS 6. And what this does is it gives you a list of suggested contacts, suggested applications that you'd like to launch based on the time. One demo Apple showed was like someone liked to meditate, and when they open up their lock screen, similar to the way that you pull up on the camera icon to bring up the camera, there was the Keep Calm on the left side, and he pulled that up and it automatically went into the Keep Calm app because his iOS device recognized that that's what he did during that time. Tim Cook described this feature as being as revolutionary as when the iPhone announced the App Store. Now, while I wouldn't go that far, I will say that this next announcement is one that could drastically change the product. Apple Watch had its newest software update introduced. They're calling it Watch OS 2, and the biggest thing that this does is it has a native App Store launch. And what this means is that apps can now run on the Apple Watch made by third-party developers and not need to be tethered to an iPhone. So what this means is that you can use certain applications and take your Apple Watch to the gym, for example, and be able to leave your iPhone at the house. And this basically takes the Apple Watch a step further than most smartwatches on the market, and can actually make it the device that Apple intended when they first made it. Apple Music was also introduced at WWDC. This is essentially Apple's response to Spotify, a streaming service that allows users to pay $10 a month for unlimited access to all the songs on iTunes. There really wasn't anything too revolutionary about this when compared to other music streaming services, other than Apple has introduced a new social aspect which allows you to follow artists as they're actually recording their music. Apple used the example like, if an artist is testing things out, they can post samples of their audio, and then you can listen to like how the album is shaping up, and they can post lyrics and things of that nature. But really, there wasn't really anything at all to really invigorate the music streaming service. The only thing that could make this brighter than Spotify was maybe Apple may have a better relationship with record labels, because they don't offer a free tier as Spotify does, and this has been known to kind of make artists who offer and create music, such as Taylor Swift, being the most vocal, pretty upset. Spotlight for OS X also got smarter. The user is now able to search things in their own words on OS X. For example, the demo Apple showed was someone typed in files that I opened last week, and Spotlight will now give you a list of things that you opened last week. Okay, next up we have the new QuickType keyboard, and this keyboard actually helps make the iPad a lot more productive, in my opinion. Some of the features that it brings are copy, cut, and paste are now directly on the keyboard next to your suggestions. And it also allows you to interact with the keyboard like a trackpad. This is done by placing two fingers on the keyboard, and you can actually scroll and move the cursor, and you can double tap your two fingers and then move to actually select how much text you'd like to highlight. Apple has also introduced new features for Bluetooth keyboards. You can hold in Command, Option, or function to bring up a list of keyboard shortcuts that are available. And this brings things such as the ability to scroll through open applications using Command Tab as you do on a Mac, or Control Tab as you do in a Windows PC. And basically what this does is this makes the iPad a lot more productive. You're actually able to use it with a keyboard and use a trackpad-like solution. So this really helps improve productivity on the iPad. iOS was not the only Apple platform to get support for split view. OS X also included a new feature similar to Snap on Windows, where the user is able to hold the Option key and hold the maximize button and drag it to the left side and hit Snap, and you're greeted with a list of applications that can be snapped to the right side. And this also works in full screen. Coming in at number 3, we have pretty much all the hidden features that Apple felt were not large enough to actually announce, and I think culminated into one. I think this takes a very high spot on my list. Some of the ones that were not announced was the ability to actually upload from Safari. So basically what this means, whereas before you were only able to upload photos from your camera roll to sites on Safari, I know as a student, not being able to upload to Blackboard, that's really a major downside. If you can, basically how this works is you click upload file, and you're greeted with basically different cloud services like iCloud Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox. All my files are typically on OneDrive, so I can actually upload documents directly from Safari. So this is really a big move in terms of productivity. Another small feature is the ability to add attachments on the Mail app. Whereas before, you had to go into the Photos app or go in to the third-party app, use the share sheet to actually mail. Well, now you can actually go into the Mail app. There's a little paper clip above the keyboard. You're able to touch that and upload any file from any cloud service such as OneDrive, Dropbox. So that's a very easy way to email documents, which also really improves productivity. There are also new profiles for Safari, which many speculate could leave the door open for an ad block for Safari. So that's huge. Apple also introduced a new search feature in settings, which allows the user to search through settings to actually find a setting that you may be having trouble looking for. You can actually just search and it'll directly take you to that particular setting. QuickType was a feature introduced in iOS 8, and it was one of my favorite features of iOS 8. Basically what this feature does is when you get a text message, you're actually able to drag the banner down and actually quickly reply to the text without actually having to open up the message application. But if you use other applications such as Facebook Messenger or any other third-party messaging service, you aren't able to quickly reply to this. But Apple has opened up the API to developers, so now QuickType can be available on any third-party messaging application. Perhaps one of the biggest features for me was the announcement that performance was heavily at the core in the development of both iOS and OS X. They were trying to make iOS run better on older devices, and OS X was trying to improve on some of the performance issues that came with Yosemite and its use of Gaussian blur effects and things that caused some Macs to bog down. So that was a very welcome experience to any iOS or OS X user. iOS also brought things such as a new battery saving mode, which would add around 3 hours of battery life to the device, as well as the update size is smaller, which really demonstrates that they're trying to focus on efficiency. The biggest thing announced for me is split-screen multitasking coming to the iPad. At long last, after this feature being seen on Android and Windows 8 and Windows 8.1 and Windows 10, it's now finally coming to the iPad, and it's a feature that's long overdue, but is much appreciated to many iOS users. On older iPads, you're able to use a feature that Apple calls slide over, which allows you to bring in an application that'll take up about a third of the screen. As an iPad Air 2 exclusive feature, you're actually able to resize this third into a full-on split screen view so that you can actually interact with two applications in halves on the screen. How this works is the user will slide their finger in from the right side similar to how this works on Windows, and snap in an application there. And if the user would like to change this application, you can actually drag from the top to bring up a list of compatible apps that you can snap in there. As I said earlier, the iPad Air 2 actually has a feature where you can actually resize how large this is so that you can actually bring this to be a full-on like split screen experience. Okay guys, that was my list of top 10 things announced at WWDC 2015. What did you think of my list? Did I leave out some features that you guys thought were really important? Sound off in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.